This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3. Lovely.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Maastricht edition live on Facebook. Tonight we have with us local adventurer Andrew Oringer, and we also have our usual fun and games of This Day in History, Matt Goes Dutch, and Tracy Tidbits, but Tracy's not here. So, welcome everyone to the show.
Yay! Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Maastricht edition. Yes, Matt is telling the truth there. We don't have Tracy. We didn't have Matt a few weeks ago, and now we don't have Tracy. What is going on?
I would say it's the lovely summer weather, but yeah.
Well, we do have a little bit of summer weather. It's just, yes, do you know what? I'm just so pessimistic at the moment. Any little bit of nice weather, and I think, yeah, that's not going to hang around for long. But no, there is some nice weather. So let's hope Tracy's enjoying herself while she's away for a few days. And we shall miss Tracy this week. But we do have Andrew the Adventurer, which sounds very, very Indiana Jones. But how are you doing, Matt?
I'm good. I am back in my house in Eindhoven, and I'm stuck in my house in Eindhoven for the next 5 days. Because I went to the UK, of course, and then when you come back, you have to have compulsory 10 days quarantine. Mm-hmm. I can test out on Sunday, so fingers crossed. But until then, I'm not allowed to leave the building, which is rather frustrating when it's sunny. I'm like, no, I need a walk, but no, I'm not allowed.
So I'm wondering about this, Matt, because of course this past year we've had these sort of pockets where we've been staying at home a lot anyway. We have been allowed to go out, but we've been kind of restricting ourselves with where we go and who we spend time with. But to actually been forced to stay in, does that feel different? Or are you just used to being at home?
Yeah, I'm just so used to being at home, to be honest. Like for the whole year, nothing's been going on, so we've not really been out much. It's just like our daily walk would we normally have, which is a bit annoying that way. But no, it's okay. It's fine.
Well, at least it's only for 5 days.
Yeah.
So do you take the test at home, or do you have to go somewhere for the test?
No, you have to go. And obviously, like the rule is you're not supposed to take public transport unless you really can't help it.
Okay, you really can't help it?
No.
Okay, so...
I don't quite understand the system. I feel like if they sent me a test kit, it'd be much more efficient.
Yes, maybe they don't trust you.
Maybe. So
you take the test, and then how long do you wait till you get the result?
I think it's normally either the same day or the next day.
Okay.
So it's not
assuming that...
I did have a very interesting experience in the UK because you had to have a test at least 24 hours before you arrive in the Netherlands. And it's so expensive. So we found the cheapest option in the area we were staying. And it was a drive-through at the airport. So I don't drive. So our friend drove us there. And Jacob was in the front seat and I was in the back seat. And as we arrived, I was like, guys, this car, the back windows don't open. How is this going to work? And for some reason, the people at the test centre also didn't seem to have ever come across this situation before. So I found really strange because surely, like, it can't have been the first time that's happened. Anyway, she was like, you just stick your head forward, like between the front seat and the window at the front. So I was like,
what?
And then she just stuck the thing up my nose. I was like, I could have just opened the door. I'm like, oh, no, this is fine. Well, yeah, that was interesting.
Okay. Well, fine. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I still haven't had a test as yet. I have not had a test. I've not had a reason to have a test. So I have been feeling absolutely fine for the past year. I haven't been around anybody that's had any germs of any kind. So So
you'll never get the experience of like tickling your brain for your nose.
Do you know what? I probably could do that anyway. If I just grab myself a pencil, I could probably do that. Is it really worth it? I don't think so.
I mean, it's an experience. If you want it or not is the question.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. But hey, our listeners out there, I'm sure there's many that have had tests by now. Was it a good experience? Was it a bad experience? Are you having to do it regularly because of the job that you're in, for example? We would love to hear from you for sure. And we shall be asking Andrew the Adventurer. That's his new name, isn't it? Andrew the Adventurer, that we've got coming on the show later. So we'll ask him if he's been tested, because I know he's recently been back to the US and has come back to us. So we'll find out what the procedures are like over there. But Anita's in the house with us, Adam's in the house with us. Hello, everybody. Lovely to have you with us. So speaking of adventures, let's go with that, Matt, because I can see you as Indiana Jones.
Oh.
Absolutely. Stick the hat on you, for sure. I can see you. What you do at the weekends is entirely up to you, Matt. I don't need to know all the details. But if you were going to be an adventurer, where would you like to go? Can you see yourself traveling the world, doing more exotic or adventurous kind of trips at all?
I would like to say in an ideal world, yes, but I'll be honest with myself and say I'm quite a sedentary person. Don't mind the odd walk, but anything too adventurous and like. But I think if I was adventurous, I would really love to go like into the jungles of South America and discover some ancient temple or city or something. I think that'd be really cool, because there's still a lot of them that have never been discovered or excavated.
Yeah,
and that's quite Indiana Jones-esque.
It is.
But the only thing is, I'm sort of like, I hate spiders and creepy crawlies and being really moist. And so realistically, I don't think
you don't like to be moist?
No. It's quite unpleasant.
Oh, right. Okay. So you don't like to be moist and you don't like creepy crawlies. Well, yeah, that's the job of Indiana Jones out then, because he's always slightly damp, isn't he?
Yeah, he always gets in trouble. He's always having to run away.
There's a lot of running involved. But yeah, I mean, you like to go on your bike.
Yes. But that's sitting.
Yes, but you would have to pedal quite hard. I've not seen Indiana Jones on a bike, I don't think. So yeah, that would give the films a completely different taste. Personally, I mean, I love the idea of going to like the Amazon, that kind of thing, you know, and canoeing down the Amazon and going out to meet tribes and all that kind of stuff. I kind of like that. But the problem for me would be the mozzies, because that would drive me up the wall. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, about mosquito bites and how to deal with them. And yeah, they love me. So that's,
they like me too.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. I think at some point I'd like to go to Antarctica. So I've been to the Arctic Circle. They are Andrew the Adventurer. I'll have to ask him this, actually. He's been to the Arctic Circle. So I have been there, which was very interesting. But
quite different adventure, much colder.
It is. Although you wouldn't know it from the people around, because when we turned up, we're all wrapped up in our thermals, and the people that were living in the area, they're walking around in their shorts. So they thought it was quite tropical. But yeah, I think probably a lot of us have a romantic idea about these adventures, of course, but when it actually comes down to it, it's a bit of a different idea. Yeah, but yeah. In the meantime, you can sit on your sofa and watch it on the telly, can't you?
Perfect.
There you go. He's a TV adventurer. But yes, we're going to have Andrew here later. He's going to be talking to us about the Dutch Mountain Trail. Yes, you heard that correctly. Okay. The Dutch Mountain Trail. So
is it like mountain plural, or is it?
We are going to clarify this, because even if we said singular, I think we're pushing it a little bit here in South Limburg. Well, until you get a little bit further south. We're obviously in that part of the country where it does actually start getting what I would say a little bumpier. But that's more probably to do with the speed bumps in the road than anything else. But of course, what our idea of a hill or a mountain is compared to the locals or the Dutch people generally, of course, that could be completely different because it is very flat here.
Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere. So yes, we will be finding out from Andrew. See, Dutch and mountain. Oh, mosquitoes are particularly attracted to certain blood groups, says Adam. I also suffer at the hands of the pesky critters. Yeah, they are. Nice. They are a nightmare for sure. And we have a pond outside here, and certain times of the year there's certainly a few more of them than others. But I think actually the frogs do a really good job of keeping the mosquitoes at bay. And we've also got bats that fly around in the back garden.
Yeah, that's good.
They
also,
love mosquitoes.
A good book if necessary.
I didn't think mosquitoes could read, but I could try that, see if that distracts them. Speaking of my back garden, before we move on, I must tell you this. So for many of you who know, I live in the countryside, and at the back of the house we have a lot of farm land, and normally there's a crop rotation thing going on where we have corn or asparagus, all kind of things. The farmer this year, he's decided to plant gladioli.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. I've got millions of them out the back here. Loads and loads of them.
All different colours?
Well, we've got 4 colours. 4 colours. But he seems to be growing the bulbs and not the actual flowers because he's going around chopping all the flowers off, which I find quite distressing.
Did you go and collect them, or did you just take them away?
He's just taken them away. There's just all these lovely flowers. He's going chop, 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 chop. It is a little distressing. Eric says that the Netherlands has not just a mountain, but also an active volcano. It's the highest point in the kingdom of the Netherlands. It's 887 meters high. It's on the island of Saba. I don't know where that is. Where is that, Eric? Tell us more. We want to know more. I don't think I want to go. Well, if it's active, we definitely don't want to be going there. But it's in the Caribbean, apparently. Oh, there you go.
Maybe you do want to go there.
Maybe I do want to go there. Maybe we should send Andrew the adventurer there to go and have a look for us. Oh, so there you go. An active volcano. I find volcanoes a little scary. But anyway, we must move on because even though Tracy, our lovely, lovely Tracy, is not here, she's kind of here in spirit because she gave you an album or 2 to review for this week. And the reason she gave you 2 was because last week, Charlie Watts passed away from the Rolling Stones. And I forgot, it's one of the Everly Brothers, and I've forgotten which one it is now.
Don't ask me.
Oh, I've forgotten. That's shocking. That's shocking. But anyway, she gave you the Everly Brothers' Greatest Hits and Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. She said you could choose one of them to review. Which one did you choose?
I got stuck and had Sticky Fingers.
Lovely. So you went for the Rolling Stones, which look, I mean, I think both albums are going to be good. The Everly Brothers are legendary, as are the Rolling Stones. So Sticky Fingers it was. How did you get on with the Rolling Stones? It's the second time actually you've had the Rolling Stones because I gave you a Stones album a few weeks ago as well, didn't I? Yes,
second time.
Yeah.
No, I quite enjoyed this album actually. I thought it wasn't quite what I expected. It's quite, I don't know, bluesy, jazzy, lots of sort of, I don't know, like a mixed sort of genre, I suppose. Like, I wouldn't say it's like traditional rock. It's not sort of just all guitars and shouty noises. It's more like, it's a bit like mellow, and some of it is quite relaxing, I suppose.
Okay.
I thought it was quite interesting. I didn't realize Rolling Stones music could also be like that.
Well, it was that kind of period for them. So that actually coming out of the late 60s into the early 70s, things were starting to change actually, and as they were going into the 70s, they started to pull away a little from the bluesier side and maybe get a little rockier. But they were always predominantly an R&B band to start with.
Well, there you go then. I didn't realise that, and I was expecting the shoutiness and more harsh guitar sounds. It was actually quite mellow, quite laid back. Some of it was a bit more upbeat, I suppose. But no, I enjoyed it. I quite liked that album.
Excellent. So where were you when you were listening to it?
I was working.
You were working. Okay, so you had it on in the background. So actually, it being a little bit chilled is probably it's probably quite nice. Unless, of course, it sends you to sleep, then that's not good while you're working. But no, that's cool. Excellent. Okay. What score did we give it then? How many mats out of 10?
Well, I decided to give it a 9. 9?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, Tracy will be pleased.
Sure, she will.
Excellent. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. I've got some drilling going on at the moment. The electrician's here doing something. So I apologise if you can hear a noise. But yes, there is some distinct drilling going on. But 9 out of 10. That's excellent. That is good. Okay, it is a good album. It is. It is probably their best period of music for sure. So excellent stuff. And if you do get the chance to listen to the Everly Brothers, I would certainly recommend it.
Okay.
Good harmonies. That's all I'm saying. Good harmonies. Yeah, if you like a harmony, I like a good harmony. Right, so I've picked you an album for next week. Now, I have gone with somebody actually who was very popular around the same time as Sticky Fingers came out. However, I have picked an album that he brought out in the 90s. So this is somebody who has been around a long, long time, but he went very quiet, sort of early 80s towards the late 90s. You didn't hear so much of him, but then he came back with this amazing album that was a collaboration with lots of people. He's got Eric Clapton on there, Wyclef Jean, all sorts. And I'm talking about Carlos Santana. And there is an album called Supernatural that came out in '99. Got probably 2 or 3 big hits from this particular album. I do remember at the time, everybody was listening to this album. It was so nice to have Carlos Santana back. He himself has got a very distinctive way of playing guitar. And there was, he kind of, as always, Viva Carlos Santana, says Adam. He kind of mixes Latin grooves with guitar and blues. It's a very, very distinctive sound. And as soon as you hear him play, you're like, oh, yeah, that's Santana for sure. So this is the album I'm giving you. So that's Santana and Supernatural. I think you might like this one, actually. I think you will. I was when I was going through my record collection, I came across that. I was like, oh yes, and I played it because I hadn't listened to it for a while. This is a good one. This is nice. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. And I was very fortunate about 5 years ago, I think it was, to see Santana. He came over to the Netherlands and played at a festival here. Bospop he played at. I think it was Bospop. Yeah, it was Bospop. And he came on just as the sun was going down. It was a beautiful day, and the sky just lit up all in these oranges and reds, and he just started playing his guitar, and you just kind of had this warm fuzzy feeling come over you. It was just sort of he started playing Black Magic Woman, which is sort of like an absolute classic of his, and you're like, oh yes, this is good. Pass the beer.
Very romantic.
It was it was great, absolutely brilliant. So there you go. So that's what I'm going to give you for next week. Supernatural by Santana. If anybody else out there likes the sound of this, then please do give it a listen, and we shall find out from Matt next week what he thinks of it.
Indeed.
It is odd not having Tracy here.
I know, it's weird.
Yes, we're missing you, Tracy. I'm just saying. And as we're missing Tracy, I suppose we probably could just take some time out, couldn't we? Maybe relax a little bit.
Time for chill.
Should we just put our feet up, have a drink? I've got mine here. Oh, by the way, this is fizzy water, and I found out today that it's all right to drink fizzy water because there had been some stuff in the news that apparently it's not good for your teeth, and there's been some testing going on. It's fine.
Good, because I'm drinking fizzy water too.
Oh, well, cheers. They wanted to measure it against Coke and such like, and Coke is very acidic and is not good for your teeth. And they wanted to measure it against that, and actually it's fine. I mean, look, like anything, in moderation. Everything in moderation, Matt. Remember that, everything in moderation.
Of course.
Yes. So while we're being moderate, let's relax. Let's put our feet up, have a drink, chill down. Let's bring the whole of Maastricht to a grinding halt, as it is time for This Day in History. Oh my God, you sound like Darth Vader. We do need Tracy. We need Tracy's subtle tones. Yeah, I don't think of you bringing the bass, Matt.
What I was doing was bringing the bass.
You're bringing the bass. Okay, that's a T-shirt if ever I heard one. Well, today it's September. Oh my goodness.
It's good food month. It's a very good food month.
It is good food month.
Harvest season.
It is hard, yeah, and I like autumn. Autumn's my favourite time of year, actually. And now that we're coming to the end of the summer, oh, how can I say that with a straight face? The end of summer. So the kind of summer that we have had, we're coming to the end of, and we're going into autumn. And I love autumn. But on this day, the 2nd of September, 2021, in 1666. What happened, Matt?
Great Fire of London.
It certainly did. The Great Fire of London began at 2 o'clock in the morning in Pudding Lane at a bakery. Kind of fits with the name, really, doesn't it? 80% of London was destroyed in 4 days. It is estimated to have destroyed the homes of 70,000 of the city's 80,000 inhabitants. That's quite a lot. 80% of London. You wouldn't know it now.
When you build it all of wood. See?
Well, this is it. This is it. This is it. 1752 on this very day, the last Julian calendar day in Great Britain and the British colonies, including America. They were to sync to the Gregorian calendar, but it was 11 days forward. They kind of skipped 11 days. So they went from the 2nd to the 14th. Now, we have talked about the Gregorian calendar on the show before, haven't we? I still don't quite get it. But anyway, they went from Julian to Gregorian, and skipped 14 days. It's all a bit odd. 1789 on this very day, the US Treasury Department, established by Congress, started today. And in 1798, they had the first bank robbery in the US at the Bank of Pennsylvania. They were robbed of $162,821.
Well, that sounds like a lot now. So then it must have been an awful lot of money.
It was 2.5 million in today's money. That's not a bad day's work.
No.
That's not bad. Yeah. Now, in 1867, on this very day, the first girls' school opens in Haarlem in the Netherlands.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure that they have single-sex schools anymore here. I'm not aware of that. Oh, I don't think they do. And on the 2nd of September in 1902, the first sci-fi film was released. Can you guess what the name of the first sci-fi film was, Matt?
Frankenstein?
No. A Trip to the Moon.
Oh, close.
So 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 that was the first sci-fi film. I would love to see this because if it's the first sci-fi movie and it's in 1902, I would love to see the graphics that they had in those days and the spaceship. It was probably sort of like, well, they didn't even have egg cartons in those days, did they? So I don't really know how they would have made it, but that I would love to see for sure. In 1929, on this very day, Unilever forms by merger of the Margarine Union and the Labour Brothers. Now, I believe, rumour has it, Matt, you might be talking about Unilever later.
Well, it just so happens I plan to talk to you about Unilever and Matt Goes Dutch. And I didn't know about this happening actually today.
So there you go. They are. So, all the stars are aligned. They're aligned. The following year, in 1930, the first non-stop airplane flight from Europe to the US took 37 hours. Now, I'm a bit sceptical about this. Non-stop 37 hours, that's a lot of fuel.
Maybe it's really small.
Maybe it was one of those catapult planes where they had a very, very large rubber band and they let it go and then it just went on for 37 hours.
But it didn't stop, it just kept going.
Well, that's what non-stop means, I believe.
Oh.
The clue is in the description. The non-stop airplane
maybe
flight.
It just needs the fuel to get up in the air and it goes high enough and then they can just glide downwards.
Maybe. I have a suspicion that there's certain people watching this who are shaking their heads and are feverishly typing away to explain to us exactly why that wouldn't work. In 1972, Rod Stewart's first #1 hit single in the UK was released, You Wear It Well. Now, actually, Rod Stewart, that's probably a good one to actually give you. That's a good album, Rod Stewart. You Wear It Well. Good tune. 1972, him and the Faces were doing some really, really good stuff then. Now, speaking of the Stones, on this day in 1982, Rolling Stone Keith Richards, his house burnt down.
Oh, no.
I have a feeling in 1982, he doesn't remember that. Knowing what he was like, he's like that all the time anyway, but certainly in the 80s, he probably wasn't even aware it was happening. A few years later, in 1987, Philips introduces the CD video. Are you aware that there is a CD video, Matt?
Is it a DVD?
Yeah, kind of thing. 1995, Southern California begins using new area code 562. It was a very slow news day on this day in 1995. 2015, on this very day, Earth's trees number just over 3 trillion, according to a study in Nature by Thomas Crowther of Yale University. I have no idea whether that's good or bad. It sounds like a lot. It sounds like that's great. I have a suspicion if David Attenborough was on the show, he'd probably say, no, that's not good at all. We need at least 50% more.
But how did he even count them? It must have taken him ages. 1, 2, 3.
Well, I don't think he actually counted the trees. The study was by Thomas Crowther, so maybe he counted them. But the question still stands. How would you count all those trees? That's a lot of fingers. You need a lot of fingers. And finally, on this day in 2015, US President Barack Obama becomes the first president to visit the Arctic Circle in Alaska. I've got something in common with Barack Obama. We've both been to the Arctic Circle. Well, who'd have thought? I've just been told that Matt should review Every Picture Tells a Story by Rod Stewart. I think that's a good call, actually. That is a good call. Tracy is okay. Don't worry. We're being asked if Tracy is fine. For those of you who maybe have joined us a little bit late, Tracy's fine. She's just having some time off. She's going off. She's having a holiday this week. The cheek of it, honestly. She's decided she's had enough of the pair of us, and she's gone away for a couple of days. So we hope she's having a good time. Just a few birthdays before we wrap this up. In 1946, Billy Preston, the American soul musician, singer and pianist, also known as the fifth Beatle, was born in Houston, Texas. In 1952, Jimmy Connors, the American tennis player and 8-time Grand Slam winner, was born in Belleville, Illinois. 1964, Keanu Reeves, the Canadian actor, was born in Beirut, Lebanon. That's interesting. 1965, Lennox Lewis, the British-Canadian boxer, undisputed world heavyweight champion, 1999, was born in London, England. Hold on, British-Canadian, born in London. Got it. And in 1966, Salma Hayek, the Mexican-American actress, was born in. She was born in
Mexico.
Yes, let's just go with Mexico. Let's go with it's Coatzacoalcos. Yeah, she was born in Mexico. Ole. And I just a little bit of a quick shout out as well, because tomorrow, Kiran Yadav, who used to work with us here at the Maastricht edition, she'll be celebrating her birthday on Thursday. And Alison and her family would like to do a shout out to Elaine Lightfoot, who is going to be celebrating her birthday on the 4th. So anybody else celebrating their birthday today, have a lovely day, however you choose to celebrate it. And that was this day in history. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Now, of course, under normal circumstances, we would be having Tracy doing the news for us, but Tracy, she's gallivanting off, enjoying the sunshine. So we're not going to have the news this week. I do apologise. I would recommend tuning into RTV English News. They will keep you up to date with everything that's going on at the moment. But I did want to share with you, there's a few, actually, there is a lot happening this weekend in Maastricht. There is so much going on. The last few months or last year, it seemed that every show, we're like, we've got nothing to tell you about stuff that's happening in Maastricht. This weekend, it's all kicking off all over the place. And I'm going to tell you a few things that are going on. Matt's going to tell you a few things that are going on later. So I'm just going to give you a few things now. The Past Festival, we did talk about this last week. That is happening this weekend. So the 3rd and 4th of September, the Past Festival will be happening. Loads of information about that all over Facebook. Struinen in the Tuinen, exactly as it sounds, you're going to stroll through gardens. That's what's that. This is a sort of like a national thing. It's all over the country that people open up their gardens, and quite often they have lots of little events going on, which is really nice. So we shall put the details or the links to this on our post-show post on our socials after the show, because once you go onto the website, you'll be able to see what's happening in your area. And loads of people have these gardens that they just open up. Some people, they have some garden chairs, a little table with some drinks and stuff going on. Other people, they have live music. Others have got these beautiful gardens that you can just have a walk around. There's all kinds of things. Some have got some like theatre stuff going on. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, have a look at that. That's happening on Sunday. And the nice thing is the weather's going to be pretty good, apparently. So that's going to be on Sunday, fingers crossed. And that'll be happening between 12 and 5 o'clock on Sunday. Also, tomorrow evening, we have Gruits. That sounded Scottish. Sorry to all the Scottish people out there. Gruits. This is tomorrow evening. This is for the city of Maastricht, really, to show its appreciation to the healthcare workers for what they've been doing over the past, well, it's more like 2 years now, isn't it? I mean, it's been going on for so long, but it's been during the coronavirus pandemic. And it's going to be taking place in a garden behind the Music Gatorade. So this is organised by RTV Maastricht and Elizabeth Stroven Fons, and it's going to feature a number of local and national artists, and there's going to be about 750 employees from Maastricht UMC, who will be able to attend. It's going to be broadcast live by RTV Maastricht on television, radio, and on the website as well from 8 o'clock. So everybody can watch that and join in if they want to. But yeah, this is a really nice thing to do because yeah, we know some people here at the Maastricht edition who have been who are related to people who have been working on the front line in hospitals and such like. And yeah, we can't say thank you enough. We really can't, can we? I mean, what they've had to put up with for the last 18 months is just crazy. And the poor things, I mean, I don't know how you say thank you, really, because, you know, they must be exhausted, absolutely exhausted. So, yeah, this is a small way of saying thank you. So that's tomorrow evening, Groets. So tune in for that, well worth it. And we've got the Bruis Festival, that's happening this weekend as well. That's going to be happening at the Music Gate today. So that's like a kick-off of the club season. That's going on this weekend. We've got the Nazomer Vintage of Brocante Fair. That's happening on Sunday. So this is an annual event that goes on where you've got Brocante and vintage entrepreneurs. There's going to be food and drink. There's going to be music, all kinds of stuff going on there. I'm going to stop now because we'll do some more later. There is just so much going on this weekend. So there's no excuse at all. Everybody can get out, do some stuff safely, of course. You've got to do it safely. So I think it's probably time. Before we get our guest on, a little message from Denis. ABBA is back. The live stream starts at 6:45. They're doing hologram concerts in a specially built area in East London. Oh my God.
I think we spoke about that at some point on the show. But that was possibly going to happen.
Yeah. Is it really then? But it's a hologram, isn't it? Yeah, so it's a hologram. It's not really them.
Does it mean like they're doing it live somewhere, but they're being...
I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Like,
it's on YouTube.
Transported.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Okay, thank you, Denis. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, yes, they did the movements. Okay, so they're dancing and everything. Okay.
Thanks.
Well, who doesn't love ABBA? We all love ABBA. Don't you, Matt? You reviewed an ABBA album a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's why I was talking about the hologram, because I read about it.
There you go. There you go. Anyway, let's get Andrew in the house. Come on, let's get Andrew. Andrew the Adventurer. We're gonna stick a hat on him. We've given him a name. I believe he has joined us somewhere already. He's there. Andrew, are you with us? Hello, Andrew. Maybe not. Let's try again. I think he's coming. I think it's. Oh, Chris Wade. It's just the most. Oh, we'll come back to you in a moment, Chris. Andrew's with us.
How's it going?
Here he is. Our adventurer extraordinaire. Hello, Andrew. Welcome to the Maastricht edition.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great. We're very excited to have you here. Matt, maybe not quite so much. He's already said he's a sofa adventurer.
I heard that. Yeah, I was listening to hear that.
But maybe you can inspire him to actually get off the sofa and go marching around these mountains that we have here in the region. But we'll get to that very shortly. First of all, Andrew, let's find out about you. Now, obviously from your accent, you're not a local boy.
No, I'm not a local Limburg boy. No, definitely not.
So where are you from and how did you end up in Maastricht?
I'm from Colorado in USA. So we have also mountains, much bigger ones. And I worked many years in the outdoor industry in Colorado, and I was a proper adventurer. I climbed lots of mountains, did lots of fun stuff. And eventually, I wanted to settle down. I got a bit tired of it, and I had a girlfriend who was from Peru, who's all from even bigger mountains. And we found out that the Netherlands was an easy place for us to both live because of English, because I got a job here, because she got a job here, and also I have a European passport. It's a secret, don't tell anyone. So it was easy for us to.
It's amazing what you can buy on eBay these days, Andrew.
Yeah.
So how long have you been here?
Almost 4 years. So I feel like I'm getting settled in. My Dutch hasn't improved all the way yet, but I feel sometimes, I was just in the US actually, and when I came back here, I felt, wow, I feel at home. Not there, but here in some weird way. So I felt I've integrated quite well.
Oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? That you did you go back for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I hadn't been back in 2 years actually. And I went back for a bunch of weddings, obligatory family and friends visits, also to be in the mountains. And I didn't do as much of that as I would like. And I actually have a funny story about being back in those mountains versus these ones. But there was some adventurizing to be had there as well.
Excellent. But when you say you came back here and you're feeling more at home, what is it about Maastricht? I mean, I can imagine from a cultural perspective, it's very, very different.
Yeah, I think I've become quite a blunt Dutchman myself, and I did that at first in the US, and people weren't really liking it. And then for a while, I was enjoying the waiters coming up to me and asking me how my week was, like how I got to the restaurants, asking me if I wanted my toast buttered by them. That was amazing. Like I really enjoyed that. But then when I came back here, I don't know, I was just used to the windy streets and the church bells and all these kinds of things, and the environment felt a bit more cozy for me. I found myself eating brunch with my friend on the side of a highway in Denver, and he's like, "Isn't this place great?" I was like, "The food's good, the view ain't." So I kind of missed the terraces over here, you know.
And do your friends and family in the US feel that you have changed as a person at all?
My family kept saying that, like kind of jokingly, like, "Oh, Andrew's European now," but no, I don't think so. I don't think they did. I'm still pretty American to my core in the way I present myself to the world.
Oh, I'm sure we can beat that out of you. Don't worry about that. But you're here to talk about nature trails, mountain trails. The word mountain keeps coming up here. And obviously, for many people, mountain and Netherlands don't usually come up in the same sentence. So we need to explain exactly what you mean by mountain trail here, because as we said before, obviously this part of the country, yes, you are starting to see a change in the landscape compared to the north, but we are not talking Everest here, are we?
No, I mean, I was kind of sold on this when I got here. When I came to Maastricht, I didn't know there was topography. It was a pleasant surprise. I did no research. I kind of just ended up here, and then went out that door one day. I was like, whoa, it's not so flat here. And the more I ran and biked, the more I explored, I noticed there's actually a lot of topography. And then I did some research, and I realized we live in the Dutch mountains. And what I mean by the Dutch mountains is this is the beginning of the Alps. If you look at a map of Europe and you trace where the topography starts, which is here southwards, you have here, then the Ardennes, then you go a little bit south and there's some little peaks in France, and then eventually you get to the Alps. So it starts here. And no, they're not mountains, but they are reasonably sized hills. And people come from all over the Netherlands to come have fun in them. And actually, there's even a Dutch mountain film festival, and they're the ones. Yeah. And it's actually world famous. It's in Heerlen and Aachen, mostly Heerlen. And it's been going on for, I think, 20 years or something. And it's one of the 15 major mountain film festivals of the world. The other ones are in Banff, Telluride, Colorado, and Chamonix, but there happens to be one here. And the guys who started at Taus and Tom, I think are their names, they're the ones who actually envision this idea of there being mountains here. So it's not my idea actually. They came up with a couple years ago this thing called the 7 summits of Limburg of the Netherlands, because there's 7 high points, and and I heard you guys talk about the volcano in the Dutch Antilles. Yes, that's an actual mountain, but in the Netherlands there's 7 high points, and they're all around Maastricht. One of them is the Observant. I'm sure you probably know it. It's like the blip hill behind St. Peter, and it's actually an artificial hill because they dug out the mine and then grew it. And then there's that's one of the 7. It's like 150 meters ish. And then another one of the 7 is by Kerkrade. It's also an artificial mountain. And then the 5 in between are real mountains. So between Kerkrade and Maastricht, there's 5 real hills. One of them is the Valsenberg. That's 300-ish meters, 1,000 feet if you're American out there. And people do all sorts of recreation on them, and there was a challenge to go run all of them, and then to trail run all of them.
You listening to this, Matt?
No.
The thing is, Matt, I heard you say you don't like spiders. You could go adventurizing in the Netherlands, and there's no spiders. There's just cozy cafes at the bottom of every hill and little villages.
Well, that's more interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I could get to the top, and then I get to the bottom. I can reward myself with some fly and a cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
And then go on to the next one like that.
That's what's nice about here. And then I guess about a year ago, they connected these 7 summits with a trail called the Dutch Mountain Trail. So they came out with a guide. You can buy it or DutchMountainFilmFestival.eu, DMFF.eu. I can send that to you later. Or you can just download for free the GPS track. So you can just follow it. And it starts in Maastricht or ends in Maastricht. And the other side of it is in Kerkrade. So it's 101 kilometers long. And you climb 1,500 meters over it.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so it's a lot of climbing actually. 1,500 vertical meters, right? And it's become insanely popular because of COVID. Because people they start coming down here from Groningen and Amsterdam and all over to go hike this thing. You may have noticed in the last few months this summer, there's been like more people with backpacks around the train station. Most of them are they're ending that or starting that. And it's more challenging than the Pieterspad, for example, which is another long distance trail, because you gain so much elevation. And for Dutch people who are unaccustomed to the mountains, this is a good foray, and it's just a train ride away.
How long does it take? Does it take 1 day, a week, or is it up to you?
Someone just set the course record. He had the fastest time. It was a Dutchman. I think he did it in like 28 hours or something. I have to look it up. Less than 30 hours. So you could do it in 2 days. It's broken up into 25-kilometer stages that take about 4 days if you run or hike it. 25 kilometers is kind of comfortable, but it's longer than the stages on the Pieterspad.
But what sort of facilities are we talking about? If you did want to make a 3 or 4 day trip, I mean, are there actually places to camp or a B&B, or what are you supposed to do?
So on the guide, on the website, they actually have every attraction, every restaurant, every B&B on the trail. So it's super newbie friendly. You can camp in comfort, let's say, and stay in these super nice hotels in Gulpen, because it passes through Gulpen, it passes through Vals, Slaniken, and then all these little Dutch resort towns. You know, people in the north, they call Villen. I don't think I'm saying it right. The highest town in the Netherlands, they call it they say it's like the south of France. There's vineyards everywhere, and they list all these B&Bs, although I think some people do try to wild camp, although it's not very legal. You don't even need to bring food, because you're always basically every 10 kilometers max, you're basically passing through a village where there's some grocery or some restaurant you can wine and dine at. And when I started doing it, it was COVID, so all the restaurants on it were closed.
Yeah.
So we were bringing our food or like hoping there was a grocery store. But I went back and ran part of it recently, and man, you pass all these full cafes and there's bikers everywhere. You could really walk or run or bike it and pig out while you're doing it.
There you go, Matt. We can sit in the cafes and watch people running past us.
People are also biking it as
Cheer
well.
them on.
Yeah,
Well
exactly.
done.
So some people are walking it, some people are running, some people are crawling, some people are mountain biking it. I think the people who mountain bike it try to do it in a day sometimes.
I have a suspicion that at some point we have either walked or driven around part of it and not actually realised that where we were as far as this Dutch mountain trail is concerned.
You've been on it if you walked right in front of the Maastricht train station, because that's the beginning and end.
Well, there you go.
Point. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, and yeah, certainly up in Vals around there, I've walked around there various times. So yeah, it blows my mind a little bit. This actually, that this is actually going on. How many times have you done it, Andrew?
I've only done the full thing once. I kind of over COVID connected it in parts, and then I've just run different parts at different times. But I have a mission to run it all at once. So that's in the future, but it's close by. So that's one really nice thing. If you live in Maastricht, you can take bus 57, I think it is, the one that goes to Hilpen through Apen.
Right.
And basically that's at 6 or 7 stops. It's kind of intersecting near where the trail is. So you can start there. You don't have to start in Maastricht. And then bus 350 later on in the trail that goes to Aachen is intersecting at other points, because at certain points it crosses the road between Germany and the Netherlands. And actually the trail goes through Belgium and Germany for a significant chunk. You go through some Belgian and German villages.
So I can see why this would appeal to people from other countries that would come over, because they'll get a kick out of the fact that, I hiked through 3 different countries.
Yeah, you hike through 3 different countries, and you get like when you're in the Belgian villages, you see French people speaking French hiking. You see more, you have the Belgian architecture, and then I entered Germany and I saw the little kids were wearing masks all of a sudden, and I was, wow, this is definitely not the Netherlands anymore, and it totally changed.
There's a sign of the times, isn't it? That's how you recognise you're in Germany, because everybody's wearing a mask.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a reason.
Well, it's just astonishing, isn't it? I mean, we've been doing the show for a few years, and we're just learning all the time about all these new things that are happening, or even old things. There's just so much going on. From your experience of doing this, if somebody wanted to give this a go for the first time, what would you advise?
Yeah, so I'd go on dmff.eu, Dutch Mountain Film Festival, or Google Dutch Mountain Film Festival and click hiking. Just a plug for them, the film festival didn't happen last year, but it's happening again this year, November 2nd to 7th. Mm-hmm. So you can also get inspired through some local and foreign adventure films. I think there might even be one about the trail. And they have all the info. You can buy, I think it's 20 euros, an entire book. It's in Dutch, or it's entirely interactive on Google, and basically everything's on there for free. So you can download the GPX file. If you haven't done something like that before, basically you need an app on your phone that can take it. I use Gaia GPS. So if you look in the App Store, it's there. And then you download it to your phone, and then you just click import. And then all of a sudden your navigation's following the trail the whole way. And if you import it, it also has all the accommodations, all the different sites along the trail, like old monasteries and little virgin things, and all the drinking places there is to get water. That's all in there as well. And you can click on the little things.
It seems to me, actually, there could be a record for how long it actually takes you to do this, as in I think it could probably take me a couple of months if I stopped at every place serving drink and food
It could take
along
you
the
years.
road.
You can, because you don't have to like sleep. If you live in Maastricht, that's the beauty. Other people, they sleep along it, but you can do a segment even if you don't have a car, and then just take the bus back.
Yeah.
It only takes 20 minutes or something each way of the bus. So yeah, people do that, I'm sure, and you can make a record for doing it over 5 years or something. But it helps you explore South Limburg. Like, I have been in these areas. I've been to some of the 7 summits. I forgot to mention one of the summit's actually in Germany, the Scheenberg,
Right.
but the bulk of the mountain is in the Netherlands, so the Netherlands claims it.
Okay.
Because we needed 7, because there's 7 in the world. So yeah, I think you could take a really long time exploring all these little villages, and maybe you'd never go to them otherwise. Because there's some famous ones like Apen and Slanneke, but then there's some really little ones in Belgium and in Germany you would never.
It's really interesting, really interesting. Well, you'll have to let us know when you plan to actually run the whole thing in one go, because we'd love to follow your progress.
Yeah, I will do. I think I'll do it in 2 parts. Like, I'd sleep one night someplace, but in 2 days or something. So I think that'd be cool. And I can share a GPS tracking.
Excellent. Yes, we'd love to follow that. And I think you're also planning on doing some other ventures out and about in the area as well, aren't you?
Yeah. So, funny story, when I was in Colorado, I was back in the big 4,000 meter mountains, and I was kind of huffing and puffing and not used to the altitude. And I kind of told my friends, man, this sucks. Like, it's pretty, but I really enjoy having like a Vi and a cup of coffee every 30 minutes whenever I'm feeling it. I had to pack all my food. There was no one around. That was kind of nice. But I kind of was like, oh, I miss the mellowness of the Dutch mountains. Yeah. But also close to Maastricht is the Ardennes, which I think is one of the most beautiful places in Europe. And besides being speckled with these awesome Trappist breweries and just breweries in general, there's tons of good hiking and running there.
Well, we'll have to get you back on the show to talk about that as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye to you, I'm going to put the question to you as I did to Matt earlier. If you were able to choose one place to do that big adventure, to go exploring Indiana Jones style and go deep or high or low, where would you go?
Oh, I've been a bunch of places already. This is a tough one, but I really, really want to go to the Caucasus, like the mountains of Azerbaijan and Georgia.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. That's my next.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, well, let us know when you go, and we'd love to hear about those adventures as well. It's been absolutely lovely having you on the show, Andrew. Thank you so much for sharing, because I have a suspicion you've inspired a lot of people this evening. It's I just love these surprises. It's just who knew, here in Maastricht. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And do let us know when you eventually go and plan to do the run. We would love to hear about it. Yeah, will do. Thank you, Joe and Matt. Super nice to meet you. And, thanks ever so much, Andrew. I'll see you in the Dutch mountains. Matt is there already. I've downloaded the app and everything. There you go. Perfect. Thanks. Take care now, Andrew. Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye. Well, do you feel inspired, Matt? I do. I didn't know anything about this. I know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. So, I mean, I like a good hike. Yeah. Well, it's just, it is about this thing about the Netherlands, isn't it? You just do not think about mountains and hills and hiking and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we do have some of we are aware that as I said, the landscape changes in this part of the country, but I just wasn't aware about the Dutch mountain trail. I mean, you just don't put those things together, do you? It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, love it, excellent. Thank you, Andrew. So we'll put all the details of the Dutch Film Festival, etc., Mountain Film Film. Yeah, that's it. I can't even say it, but we're going to put it on our socials at the end of the show. before we disappear, of course, we've got Max Goes Dutch. What have you got for us? Oh, you got Unilever.
I have Unilever, which of course I didn't know was its anniversary of existence
No, well, there you
today.
go.
The universe told me I had to tell you all about it, apparently. So I've been exploring Dutch international businesses because I thought, oh, some of them are quite interesting, so we'll have a look. And today we have Unilever. And the Dutch part of Unilever, of course, as you said, Joe, is the Margarine Unie, the Margarine Union. So have you ever heard of the Margarine Union? But of course you have, because you looked it up. So they made up the name Unilever, so that the uni bit is the Margarine Union and Lever is Lever Brothers, British company. And they merged together in 1929 to form Unilever. The Margarine Union was a combination of 4 Dutch margarine producers. We also had a big business in the UK, and Lever Brothers were a big soap manufacturer, also big in the US. And so when they combined in 1930, they became one of the world's biggest companies, the biggest company in the UK, and the world's first multinational company. So they're a big deal, and they're still one of the biggest companies in the world today. And of course, they have some of the most well-known brands, which on their own generate over $1 billion, I think it was, such as Lynx or Axe, Dove, Omo and Persil, Hellmann's, Lipton Tea, Sunsilk, and many, many more. I'm sure we all know, have some Unilever in our cupboard somewhere. It's quite impossible not to, actually. So it's an Anglo-Dutch company and it's headquartered in London. It used to be headquartered in both Rotterdam and London until Brexit. Then it was complicated with tax and everything else that Brexit messed up. So the Dutch part of the business, the Margarine Union, was founded in Os, which is near Eindhoven in North Brabant, in 1927. And the biggest one was called Anton Jurgen United, and that was founded in 1867. So it's a well-established business by the time it was merged with Unilever. And that company got the rights and patents for margarine. So the margarine was invented by a French inventor called Hippolyte Mega-Mourier.
Oh, there's a mouthful.
Quite a name. In 1871, he invented margarine, the chemical process to create, well, fake butter, basically, which is margarine. And this Dutch company, Anton Jurgens United, bought the patents and the rights and produced it. The Dutch, of course, produce lots of dairy, lots of milk. And so, it doesn't make sense. You don't make margarine from dairy. Ignore that fact. But it became a really important manufacturer of margarine in the world, and then merged with Unilever. And Lever Brothers, the soap manufacturers, founded in 1885 by 2 brothers, and their brands included Lifebuoy, Lux, and Vim. These are brands that are still around today. I don't know if you know them. And their soaps are special because they were able to use palm oil instead of tallow, and tallow is beef fat.
Sorry for the poor bastards who have to face the next generation of United States Navy SEAL.
They didn't know that then. So that's Unilever in a nutshell. There's lots going on. There's lots more to tell you, but yeah. So this today apparently is the anniversary of Unilever. So happy birthday, I suppose.
Yeah, well, they're probably having a party. They might even be having a party with Marmite, because that's one of their products. I've just been informed by Anita. Now, of course, Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. Where do you stand with Marmite, Matt? Marmite, Matt.
I don't mind it in food, like in something, like a sauce or something, but I never eat it on its own.
No, I'm a hate it girl.
The smell is just so strong, so pungent.
It is. So's the flavour.
Yeah.
It's just best. Even just looking at the jar makes me go, oh, that nasty. No, definitely not. But yeah, it's bizarre that you should bring that up on today. It's yeah. We've got time for some titty bitties before we go. Yes. Tracy's given us some, which you're going to read out for us in a moment. But I just wanted to also add, if anybody's in the mood for a dance, Just Jason's Salsa Caribbean Entertainment are starting some new classes. They have Salsa, Bachata and Kizomba classes, and beginners can start from €55 for 6 classes. There's no sign up needed for the open day, which is going to be happening from September 13th. So if you want, I'll put the links to that as well up on our socials as well. But if you fancy, they've got the classes in Dutch and in English. So if you fancy having a bit of a wiggle, do you think, Matt, that you've got some salsa in you? Oh, if we lost Matt, oh no, there he is.
I think I would need a lot of practice. I don't have great. I have 2 left feet, I think, is the.
It's all in the hips. It's the hips don't lie.
Well, mine maybe.
Now, I don't know what's happening.
Tidbit. Can you not see me?
I can't see you. You've disappeared. Well, you've disappeared for me. I don't know if you've disappeared for everybody else, but yes, the picture's got a bit wibble, but people can hear you anyway. So, what have you got from Tracy's Titty Bitties?
Tracy has sent through the Meet Maastricht, our favourite partner.
Yeah.
We'll be doing World War II walking tour on the 3rd of September, which is tomorrow, and a village and mountain bike tour on the 5th of September. So check out their website if you want to book tickets, book places now. There is also a pizza workshop on the 27th of September at Biancale 61, which is on the Struinen. That sounds perfect for me, to be honest. I'm quite up for that.
Yeah.
You get the origins of pizza, and then you make and eat your own dough and pizza. You also get dessert and drink included, and it costs €15 per person, bargain. So yeah, check out Biancale 61 or Biancale 61. And so Tracy's tasty teddy bitties this week are for Oodles of Noodles, which is on the Tongarestraat, number 13, and it is an Asian noodle restaurant. But hand-pulled noodles, udon, ramen, gyoza, great they are. Spring rolls, spring onion pancakes, Japanese beers, and much, much more. So that you can go there and you can eat in or take out, sorry. And there's super nice and super yummy spot with really authentic flavors. So there you go.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Now, I have to be honest with you. I do not know for sure if we are still broadcasting because we seem to be having a couple of technical issues here. Assuming that we are, we're going to wrap things up anyway. So thank you very much to Andrew, who joined us this evening to tell us about the fascinating Dutch mountain trail. Tracy will be back with us again next week. We'll be looking forward to seeing Tracy then. Have a lovely weekend, however you choose to spend it. All these things that are going on this weekend, I'm sure there's going to be something for you to do for sure. So enjoy the weather, have a lovely weekend, and we shall see you again next Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I still can't see you, Matt.